Hey everybody, Happy New Year. What I'm going to be doing in this video is I'm going to be talking about 10 films that I'm looking forward to the most in 2019. I don't quite have my best of the year or worst of the year list quite ready to go yet, but I do want to take this video to kind of tell you about 10 films that I'm really looking forward to in 2019. Though I'm looking forward to a lot of films this year, these are kind of the 10 films that for me personally I hope make the most impact, that are a hit in some kind of way. They make an impact on a lot of people who like to watch movies and stuff like that. Some of these I'm hoping will kind of, two of them in particular, will revolutionize kind of how people view a certain kind of film that I'm going to go over here in a little bit when I get to those two films. And some of these are just like remakes and adaptations and things of that nature that I'm just really looking forward to in general. So I guess without further ado, and as always with these anticipation lists, 10 is kind of the weakest. Like, I'm looking forward to, but it's kind of the weakest on the list. And as we work into number one, those are the films that the further we get into the list, I'm looking forward to those films even more. If you're at the film that you're looking forward to the most is not on this list, chances are I'm probably still looking forward to it as much as you are. But these are kind of the 10 films for me personally that I'm looking forward to the most personally. So let's go over those 10 films that I hope have an impact of some kind in 2019. At number 10, we have Joker. This film's going to be directed by Todd Phillips and be produced by Martin Scorsese. Joker's a very important Batman character. I'm kind of glad that this DC film is kind of going to step out of the DCEU, focus on its own thing. I think it takes place in like the 80s. Even the name of the Joker is different. I think his name is Arthur Fleck or something like that. So it's going to have Joaquin Phoenix in it. I'm kind of looking forward to it. I'm interested in seeing this crime drama that will just focus on Joker, see what Gotham City's like before Batman got there. Obviously, Joker will long have a reputation of some kind before Batman goes into the picture somehow. I'm just looking forward to kind of see where it goes. I could kind of see it flopping potentially, but I could also see how good this could be if it's done correctly. So let's hope that Joker is a good film. It's at number 10 on my list. At number 9, we actually have a film that I don't really hear a lot of people talking about, but I'm looking forward to it personally. And it's the Doug Liman film Chaos Walking. This is a book adaptation. It's based off, I think, a small series of books. I think the author who worked on A Monster Calls, I think, has worked on these stories. Charlie Kaufman, who's wrote a lot of films I've like Adaptation, Being John Malkovich. I want to say he wrote a treatment for this story. I'm just really looking forward to Chaos Walking for the simple reason that it sounds original. I'm really intrigued by the concept. Daisy Ridley and Tom Holland both have roles in this movie. I'm just intrigued by this idea of, people not really having personal thoughts anymore. It's more so people connect through something called noise where everybody can kind of hear each other's thoughts. And yeah, people can talk to each other and things like that, but it's definitely more of like a jungle setting. It's kind of people starting over and communicating differently and kind of not really keeping anything to themselves. And there's not a lot of women around. I think it's a male dominant world at this point. So I'm just kind of curious to see where it goes. It could be very interesting if done correctly. So Chaos Walking makes it in at number 9 on my list. At number 8, we have the Guy Ritchie live-action adaptation of Aladdin. I love the original Aladdin as a kid, the animated one. Will Smith as the genie hopefully will be interesting because Robin Williams is kind of unstoppable in his performance of the genie that he once did. I'm curious to see how Naomi Scott's going to play Jasmine. I think she's a good fit for the role. I hope it's not too Guy Ritchie-ish. I just don't want too many explosions and over the top action scenes. I really want a really good live action Aladdin that will hopefully bring something different to the plate. Will hopefully also tell the Aladdin story we all love. We'll do something interesting with Will Smith as the genie rather than just him doing a Robin Williams impression or anything like that. So it makes it in at number 8 on my list. Let's hope that Aladdin is a good film. At number 7, this is kind of what I was talking about earlier with films that I'm hoping are going to revolutionize some things, and that's Detective Pikachu. I have been wanting a really good video game to film adaptation in a really long time. We quite haven't gotten there yet. Tomb Raider almost made it. Even the first Mortal Kombat, depending on who you talk to, almost made it. But we kind of haven't gotten there yet. We haven't gotten there yet, and we really need to. It's worked with superhero stories, it's worked with comic books and graphic novels, but it hasn't quite worked for video games yet. So I'm hoping that Detective Pikachu can hopefully be the first film to do this. I like the whole Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu thing. It kind of has a Deadpool vibe to it. They got Rob Letterman from Goosebumps to direct the movie, so hopefully what he brought to Goosebumps he can bring to Pokemon. I like the way the Pokemon look in live action. It just has a lot of things going for it that I hope are really good. I even wasn't originally looking forward to this film until the trailer came out, and once I saw kind of what it was they were going for and the vibe they were doing, I was totally on board for it. I'm a huge Nintendo fan alone. Um, I really hope this is a great film. It sounds like a great detective story also. So Detective Pikachu's number 7 on my list. At number 6, we have Godzilla, King of the Monsters. I really loved the previous Godzilla film that Gareth Edwards worked on in 2014. This is a sequel to that movie. Gareth Edwards is not back for this one, but we do have Michael Dougherty from Trick or Treat and Krampus, which I both really liked. Michael Dougherty kind of has an interesting way of looking at things too, so I'm hoping that's gonna bring something interesting to a Godzilla movie. I like what Rodan's looking like, what King Ghidorah looks like so far, what Mothra's looking like so far. I like that there's other monsters in the mix. It's going to set up for Godzilla versus Kong, which I think comes out in 2020. There's just tons of things I'm looking forward to about it. I hope it lives up to the hype. I hope it's a great continuation of that 2014 film that I really enjoyed. So Godzilla King of the Monsters makes it in at number 6 on my list. At number 5, we have the Lion King remake by Jon Favreau. Though it's basically a live action Lion King, it's done in CGI. It's completely done in that direction. So it basically is an animated film. It basically just is a remake. But it's done in a way that make it looks like it's live action. So it's one of those things where I'm just really looking forward to it. The very first Lion King had a very big impact on my own life. Um, so I'm hoping Jon Favreau could do something interesting with the remake. Like I said, I like how real everything looks in it so far. So hopefully it's a great film. It's number 5 on my list. At number 4, we have a film that a lot of people are probably looking forward to, and that's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood by Quentin Tarantino. I just love this idea of kind of this TV actor and his stunt double kind of struggling to find work. It's during the Manson family murders, so there's a lot of really dark stuff going on with a lot of people in Hollywood. I just like this idea, too, of kind of a fictional Bruce Lee, a fictional Roman Polanski, just people that you might recognize and heard of from the 60s, kind of struggling in their own way from the Manson family murders. And, these guys are just really trying to find work. They just want to get past this whole murder scheme thing that's been going on and just kind of continue their lives. I really hope it's great. Everything I've seen from the set photos, from what the script sounds like, from what the actors and actresses are doing with their characters, and what the set photos look like, and all that stuff. It really sounds like an interesting film. I hope it's another great hit for Quentin Tarantino. It's at number 4 on my list. At number 3, we have a film that's kind of in the dark right now. There's only very vague details shared about it, but I'm interested regardless. And that's Star Wars Episode 9. It's going to be directed by J.J. Abrams. Colin Trevorrow unfortunately stepped away after Carrie Fisher passed away, so maybe his script was going to feature more of a Princess Leia presence in the story. Princess Leia will still be in the story. It's going to feature basically a CGI rendered clipping thing, I guess, that J.J. Abrams has been talking about. So, technically speaking, Carrie Fisher's in the film, even though she was never on set since she passed away before filming this movie. I'm just curious to see kind of how this new trilogy wraps up, how J.J. Abrams is going to do it. I didn't hate Last Jedi. I know a lot of people did. I really like The Force Awakens, though, and I think that's why I'm as intrigued as I am as to how they're going to wrap the whole thing up. Does Rey have parents that we're going to know about? Is her parents connected to other previous Star Wars characters? What's going to happen to Kylo Ren? What's going to happen to the overall dark side? There's just so many great potential directions they could take this to kind of wrap the whole thing up in an interesting way. I'm curious to see where it goes. It comes in at December of 2019, I think is when it comes out, and it's also number 3 on my list. At number two, we have another film that I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to, and that's Avengers Endgame. This is a sequel to last year's Avengers Infinity War. I'm really curious to see kind of where they go. You know, Infinity War left in such a spot where they could really go anywhere they want. And I'm really curious to see where that's going to be and kind of how future MCU films are going to work now because of this movie. How does Spider Man come back? How does Black Panther come back? How does Doctor Strange come back? All these characters have sequels of some kind announced, but based off the Infinity War events, how is that going to be possible? So I'm kind of curious to see how things like that are going to be fixed, how they're going to come back. What are the current Avengers going to do about this whole Thanos situation? So tons of interesting directions they can go in. Curious to see where the MCU is going to go after this movie comes out. So I'm just really looking forward to kind of getting some questions answered. So it's number two on my list. At number one on my list, and surprisingly enough, it's not an Avengers or Star Wars film like a lot of people probably have on their list. This is more of a personal, like, I really hope it's good. Kind of going back to the whole Detective Pikachu thing of video games hopefully becoming good movies someday. One movie I'm really looking forward to the most in 2019, it's number one on my list, is Sonic the Hedgehog. This is going to be a live action film adaptation of the Sonic the Hedgehog game series. If this movie's done right, this could be a blessing. I really hope it fixes the video game curse. From what I've seen of like set photos and posters and things like that, I really like the look that they're going for with Sonic. I like the whole real tennis shoes look. That's going to be more of a furry kind of Sonic look. I like how it takes place in a town called Green Hills, like Green Hill Zone from the games. I'm curious to see if we have other big characters show up like Tails, Knuckles, Amy Rose. I'm sorry, I was thinking of Big the Cat for a second there, but yeah, who knows? Maybe Big the Cat will show up too. But ever since I played Sonic Adventure when I was younger, I was always kind of curious to see how Sonic in the real world would play out in like a movie or things like that. And it sounds like they're kind of taking a Sonic Adventure approach to this, which I really am intrigued by. Jeff Folder, who's worked with Tim Miller on a lot of Blur Studios projects, is the director of this film. Tim Miller himself is going to produce it. I really hope it's great. I really hope it doesn't bomb. I really hope it fixes the video game curse. Jim Carrey's going to play Dr. Robotnik in it. There's just so many things about this film that I want to have work. I want this to be a great movie, and hopefully it will be. Hopefully it'll be the film that fixes video game movies, unless Detective Pikachu can do it before this one, because that one comes out earlier in the year. I hope both films are masterpieces, but even if Sonic the Hedgehog is the one that has to be the masterpiece, I really would prefer it to be that way. Let's kind of see where 2019 goes with that. So those are my picks for most anticipated films of 2019. You guys, let me know down below if you guys have any films that I didn't mention here that you're also looking forward to. I hope to see you throughout 2019 for plenty of movie reviews, and I'll see you guys here for the next video.